So you thought I'd call back to you. So you thought I'd crawl back to you. Saw your picture the other day. Ain't it funny how things changed when you're looking the other way?
Hi, I'm Eileen Bild. I'm with OTEL Talk, and today I have the Outsiders with me, and they are Ricky, Rob, Rik, and Jimmy. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing today? Great day, isn't it?
It is. It sure is.
It is, yeah. So you have a lot going on right now, and I want to talk about your new release. But first, I just want to share a little bit with the audience about your background. You guys have been around for quite a while, and you had your first hit song in 1966, and it's called Time Won't Let Me. And from there, you have played and toured and become a sensation for people who have listened to you since then and still are excited about your comeback now. So share with me a little bit of, Rik, you got a gold award, and where you're planning to go with your new single for today.
Yeah, good morning, Eileen. Yes, Time Won't Let Me. It took a couple of years for the sales figures to come in. Back then, actually, those were vinyl records that were sold, hard copies. But it took a couple of years for the overseas sales to be all calculated. But yeah, we finally received a gold record from Capitol Records for $1 million worth of sales on that single, Time Won't Let Me. And the subsequent singles that were released, of course, didn't do quite that many numbers. But yeah, it was quite an award. In fact, it's hanging on my wall as we speak today.
That is awesome. That's great. So we're going to move forward to now. And you guys are having a comeback, and you have a new release called I've Got a Heart Too. How you guys wrote that song and how it came about.
I'll start out, but I'll turn things over to Jimmy.
Okay.
The guys in the band all write songs except for myself. I'm no poet, so I don't even try. But we had several choices to make. And we decided that the song that Jimmy had written the lyrics to had the most potential to be made into an Outsiders style song. So once we made that decision, then it was like adding a recipe, I guess you would say, or building something from the ground up. We all added our individual ideas to it. Threw some away, kept some, and we finally over not very long, short period of time, decided the arrangement that we wanted, the music we wanted. Rik and Rob and Jimmy all expressed their individual musical parts to it, and myself, the drum parts where they belong, where they should be, and I'll let Jimmy finish out the story, but. That's how that song came about.
Yeah, as the writer, we were walking into Time Won't Let Me was a pretty high bar, and I was very self-conscious on what can we scrape up here? Okay, what can we do? I pretty much brought the skeleton of the song in, and the gentlemen of the orchestra. They did what they do, and it became an Outsider song. and people have really responded to it. It's quite overwhelming. It's very nice. You know, we're hoping it goes cardboard instead of gold. So.
And I've got a heart too, and I don't know what you're trying to prove, and it breaks with everything that you do. And I've got a heart too.
Well, it must feel good to have such a positive response. And I think you have the opportunity now to reach younger generations to and encourage them to follow you and listen to the music that represents the 60s and 70s, which is really timeless. You know, your music, whether you played it back in the 60s or playing it today, I believe it will always be accepted, and you'll have fans and grow your fan base, because it does have that quality to it that is difficult for many bands to hold on to.
You know, I would like to mention too that we recorded the backing tracks live, except for some overdubs as far as like acoustical as opposed to electrical. You know, what you hear is what we sound like live. And that was very important to us, because I know a lot of guys and gals in the industry now, you know, they like the MP3 stuff and, you know, and send WAV files back and forth and add whatever. We all live within, 30 minutes to maybe an hour of each other here in Ohio, in northeastern Ohio, which makes life a lot easier. But I think if that wasn't the case, I still think, you know, they're all in the same room. It just works for the outsiders. And, well, I know it's old school, but it works, you know, it conveys the song. That was the idea.
No, that's great that you do that, because I know I've heard people say before, when they hear someone live, or a band or artist live, sometimes they'll say, well, that doesn't quite sound the same as what's, you know, on the CD or on the album. So doing it live, I think that's a blessing that you can do that and sound the same, whether you're recording it or in a live production. So I want to kind of find out a little bit about each of you, because the two of you in the back have been kind of quiet, and I just want to kind of go around, and we'll start with the back there. So Rob, just tell me a little bit about how you got started. He's on that side.
Wait, yeah, Rob, yeah. There you go.
How you got started in music, at what age, and you know, where you see yourself going with the Outsiders with this new release and moving forward.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've been playing forever, boy, since I was a little kid. You know, just started playing on the piano, and there was always music in our house. I grew up in a musical family. My parents both played, not professionally, but, you know, they played. So there was always a radio on or something. So music's just been, you know, part of me. And I started on the clarinet, actually. I was classically trained on that. And then by the time I got to be about 12 or 13, I was real into baseball and clarinet. And I discovered guitars and girls. And that was the end of the clarinet and the baseball. And then it just kind of went from there, you know. And just started playing in bands, and it's been that ever since. So I met these guys. We've been friends for several years, and then Ricky gave me a call a couple of years back and said, "Hey, we're looking for a bass player. You know, would you be available?" And so here we are, you know, together and doing this. And it's just been great. It's been great fun. So.
Thank you. Well, you know, and I love to hear when a musician and artist has had music in their life, their basically whole lifetime, because I think it's part of who you are as a person, and you can bring out that part of yourself through the music, and as a team and as a group, it just makes you that much stronger.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Rick in the back.
Howdy. What do you want to know?
Hi. Just when did you start being a true real artist, and what got you interested in being a musician?
About 5 years ago, I took up piano. Um,
He's lying. 5,
six.
6. Okay, 6 I can
Well,
believe.
you know, second thing that goes memory. The first one is I don't remember. Just like Rob, I've been playing forever. I come from a non-musical family. My father couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. My mother could sing. I couldn't play sports, so I had to learn how to do something. So I played piano. And little did I know that I was learning a skill that would be able to feed a family of one on occasion. So I played piano. Whatever band I went in, we seemed to need a different instrument. So back then I thought nothing of it. Frankly, now I don't think much of it. And if we needed a guitarist, I picked up a guitar and played it. If we needed a harmonica, I picked up a harmonica and played it. If we needed a flute, I picked it up and played it. So whatever we needed, I simply picked it up and played. And honestly, it just kind of came to me naturally. It's just what I do. I can't play baseball, football, or golf. Walking is sometimes a challenge, but I can play some instruments. So.
Well, it sounds like you were born with a natural gift of music, and I love that too because I feel that life would not be the same if we didn't have music in some way, shape, or form. And so, you guys, as a classic, from the '60s, you're a perfect example of how music is so important to us, and the fact that you're able to make such a strong comeback and you have new releases coming up is again a blessing, and you're blessing all of us to be able to have the ability to listen to the continued gift that each of you have and coming together. So thank you for sharing that, Rick. Who's next, Jimmy or Ricky?
You want to go first, or should I?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I've been playing forever too. I started when I was 5. I just turned 30, so that's only 25 years. I'm the only musician in my family. God bless my mom and dad. God rest their soul. There was always the radio on. Always the Beatles. Always the Dave Clark 5. Always the Outsiders. I was an Outsider fan before I was even out of diapers, I was told. Serious. That was one of the reasons why I learned how to play. That riff the time won't let me. Been in a whole bunch of bands. I've been blessed to have my own non-outsider stuff in films. Is solicited for that, which is always kind of fun. It just we just keep going as the Outsiders, and it is a blessing. These are my brothers, and I am the hack musician of all of them, to be honest with you. They are absolutely beyond fantastic. And I'm not just saying that because they're in the room, that's the truth. So having a blessing to be, and you're always, when you play with people who are better than you, you yourself get better. And that's a blessing. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, sounds like a good story. And I've worked with a lot of musicians and bands, and it's like having a family. And the fact that you guys have such a strong relationship, I think, is very important to the success that you have and will continue to have. So thank you for sharing that, Jimmy. Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, your turn.
My turn?
Yeah, your turn. Hello.
Eileen, at a young age, I got interested in music. My father came from Italy, and he played mandolin and accordion and music, just like everybody else. And music was around in some form or another. I got interested in Dick Clark's American Bandstand. It really appealed to me. And mostly through television, I found what I liked the most to do. and took music lessons and followed the pop music. And we did all that silly stuff like so many others. We would sing on the way to walking to school in the morning and hanging out on the street corner trying to sing a vocal group song that happened to appeal to us at the time. And I picked up the drums from a couple of bands that I saw on television, of course. And one thing led to another. Playing locally all through high school. I don't want to get too lengthy here. My wife tells me not to talk so long, but the local band led to an invitation by the Outsiders, which had a degree of success and lasted several years. And since then, I went through the whole cycle of things from the Outsiders. There was a brief time where I didn't play. I got invited to play in a lounge band, a Las Vegas style lounge band. That lasted for a while. From there, it went to a horn blues R&B band. From there, it went to a disco band. From there, it went to a classic rock trio. And from there, it went to an actual 6-night-a-week disco band. I did that as well. And until about 5 or 6 years ago, I was approached by a promoter asking if I would be interested in reforming the Outsiders. This was probably 50 years after the fact. I actually didn't think at first that it would have any appeal to anyone after all the time had passed. But he convinced me, and that was the beginning of reforming the Outsiders in, I would say, 2017.
Every day I see an endless skies pass before my eyes. Every day I feel the tears that you cried. So hard to carry on, but now I'm strong, and I found this is where I belong. And I've got a heart too, and I don't know what you're trying to prove, and it breaks with everything that you do. And I've got a heart too.
That, and it was difficult to get started again, but grateful to know that people that were a little older remembered music from that decade, and there was still some interest there to see the Outsiders perform live, which I feel, like so many other bands, that's our strongest suit, is to perform live. Like Jimmy said, when the recordings are great, and we really enjoy doing them, and we're very pleased that we've had some interest and some success with our latest recordings. But they were recorded the way we would play them live. We would play them all we would play the music all at the same time, and it just feels, I don't know if you would call it old-fashioned, or
it feels right.
Yeah. Instead of in that case, we're jumping in the stew pot all at once, as opposed to layering a Dagwood sandwich that's 6 inches high, piece by piece. We do it all at once, and it seems to work out for us that way. And I'm the oldest, of course.
You are?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, I didn't know.
And I can only say that I relate to the 60s music better than anything new, because I played that 60s music when it was new. So it's not playing an oldie to me. It's playing what I grew up playing. So actually, what's foreign to me is the newer music. But nevertheless, my friends here and I, we work well together, and look forward to a little longer career doing this. And we're hoping that things take off for us.
Well, you know what? I think they will, because as Jimmy said earlier, you guys have had a really awesome response to your release, and that's just the beginning. So I think I'd like to know what are your plans to stay in in the music industry and push this forward. And you said you wanted to play live, and you're signed on with big records label company, and so you got a great team behind you to help you achieve your goals. So any thoughts on, or would you like to share what your plans are to be able to play live?
Sure. Well, of course, that's not something we make the decision of on our own. We have to, like anybody else, we have to get hired, and we don't go out and say you should bring us in because we're the outsiders from Cleveland, Ohio. So you better do it while you can. It's like any other job. We have to get hired. We have to deal with promoters and theater managers and music managers and all that. The business part of it is difficult for me. I have my guys backing me up that help enormously with contracts and contract writers and backline and dealing with certain people. So we we hope to continue. While like I said, I'm the oldest. While I'm physically able, I like to continue for as long as I can. And not to sound corny, but we'll know when it's time to stop. But for now, yeah, full speed ahead.
Go, man, go.
No. Well, that sounds like a great opportunity for really taking yourself to the next step, the next level in today's day and age and the music industry, because it has changed since the 1966 era. And like I said, you have a great team behind you. You've got a great, the four of you are working together, and you're going to be successful. And I think you already have that running start out of the gate.
Why did you hurt me? Why did you hurt me again?
I have one last question for each of you, and then you can let everybody know where they can find out about you and connect. So the question is, if you have any words of wisdom for musicians and artists starting out or wanting to make a big break, what would that word of wisdom or words of wisdom be? So Jimmy, I'll start with you. Oh, Ricky, yeah.
I'm going to pass that off to Rob and Rick. My success, actually, I can't say I created it because I didn't. I was invited to join the Outsiders through interesting circumstances. I had been playing professionally around town, and like any other town, the musicians kind of know each other either by reputation or if they're friends. So my reputation allowed me to be invited to the Outsiders. So I was not I was an original member, I guess you would say, but I was not the creator of being a part of it at the outset. I was not. So I'm gonna ask Rick and Rob to answer their advice for the up and coming
young folk.
I'll let Rob start, and then I'll just fill in everything he forgets.
Nice.
From my experience, music is such a great thing to have in your life. It's always been a huge part of my life, and I could go on about stories about how it shaped my life here and there. But to anyone who's involved in music, just pursue it to whatever is to whatever degree is appropriate for you. If you want to do it professionally and you have the ability and the opportunity to do so, do that. Or if you do it as a hobby, or it's an art and it's an enjoyable thing to have in your life. So if you have the opportunity to do that, I say pursue it on whatever level is appropriate.
So basically, never give up.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So if it's something that you want to do for a living, set your sights on something that is reasonable. That's number one. The 1% of 1% of 1%. I'm not saying don't go for it. Don't shoot for it if that's really what you want. But if that's all you'll be satisfied with, become a milkman or do something else. But if what you want to do is play music, then my advice is learn your craft. That's number one. Number two is play with other people. Number three is know when to shut up. And I don't necessarily mean in terms of talking. People tell me to shut up all the time. I'm talking about in terms of musically. Be quiet and listen to the other musicians. You learn by listening. You learn by playing, but you also learn by listening. And sometimes you have to know when not to play, because not playing is as important as playing. Get out, go to open mic nights, go to music stores, seek out people who are like-minded and who are doing what it is that you want to do. Be bold and try and contact people at the next rung up. Don't be a nag, but be bold. And don't be afraid to call on your relationships that you built in the past. Most successful bands that I know, most people who are successful are somehow related to one another. When I went to see a Herman's Hermits show, which I did not long ago, Peter Noon starring Herman starring Peter Noon. He told the story of him and his guitarist, and his first guitarist, and how they skipped school every day and spent the day in his attic all day, every day, writing songs and playing. And that relationship continued. And they continued with other like-minded people who were geographically close to them. So, more than that, I'd be prattling, and I don't want to do that because that makes me sound old. But that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Great words of advice. Okay, Jimmy.
All that, and if you want to do it, go for it. There's nothing worse than could have, would have, should have. Nothing worse than regrets. So if you really have it in your heart of hearts, you want to make it a go. I don't want to say have something to back up or to fall back on, but the reality is, especially now, you've got to have a plan B. Even if your music is a plan A, you got to have a plan B. Because you got to live, you have to have a car, you have to have, whatever have you. That's very important too. You have to be realistic, as Rick had mentioned. The odds of anyone ever being as huge as the Beatles, But however, you don't know if you don't try. You just say a prayer and move forward, man, and do what you can. And that's what we're doing.
Absolutely. That's great. And I like to say when there's a will, there's a way, and there's always a way. So, and you guys have found your way to moving forward.
And I've got a heart too. And I don't know what you're trying to prove. And it breaks with everything that you do. And I've got a heart too. And I've got a heart too. And I don't know what you're trying to prove. No, no.
with that, Ricky, tell us what how people can find you and how they can subscribe and like and follow you.
Our website is www.theoutsidersusa.live.com. And we also have a Facebook page, The Outsiders Live, and our two latest releases and a promotional clip of a performance can all be seen on YouTube and what am I thinking?
It's also on our website.
It's on our website
as well. You can also go to theoutsidersrocks.com and it'll take us there too. That's a new one.
And our press kit is on the Big Records labeled website as well, bigrecords.world. And there's a biography there and a link to our own website, of course. There's quite a bit of information there, some pictures, some video, all the things that are supposed to accompany that sort of thing. They're on there as well. So, yep, we can be seen and heard.
Yeah, there's also a video for I've Got a Heart Too on there now.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Over
Awesome.
your local police station or post office, there's usually wanted photos.
Yeah, there's one of us up
Yes,
there.
At least one of us.
Yeah, at least one, if not two.
At least one. Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. This has been a great conversation. I wish you all the best, and we will catch up again soon.
Thanks,
God
Eileen.
bless you. Thanks
You're
so much. Have a
welcome.
great day, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.